Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Hannah if you're new here. And in today's video, I'm going to be doing a very quick October wrap up. I was really struggling this month, but I did manage to read a few books. I just uploaded 2 reading vlogs and I highly encourage you to check those out to get detailed thoughts and opinions on all of those books, but I will not be talking about those in this video. So these are all of the other books I read in October. Happy Halloween. The first book we're going to be talking about is The Black Griffin by Mercedes Lackey and Larry Dixon, and unfortunately I think this is going to be my last Valdemar book for a while. I think I need a bit of a break from this world and this author. I didn't love this. There were a lot of things in here that I had a problem with. There is essentially a eugenics plot line with the griffins in this book, where a mage has created the griffins. They are his magical creations and he is holding their breeding practices hostage from them. And even though they are intelligent beings capable of complex thought, he is withholding that from them, and so they don't know how to reproduce without him. And that just really bothers me, and I'm seeing a pattern with Mercedes Lackey in all of her books that I've read, where there's this obsession with sex, including with the griffins, and it's just become a pattern that I'm kind of uncomfortable with. So the themes in here are just not what I am looking for. They're making me a little uncomfortable. This is also a war story, but heavy on the military strategy, and that is not my type of fantasy, so this is a book that I just don't think I was set up to enjoy anyway. So instead of reading more Valdemar, more Mercedes Lackey, for the time being, I'm actually gonna try and go back to Robin Hobb and give Robin Hobb a second chance. I read The Assassin's Apprentice, the Farseer trilogy, and really enjoyed book 1 and 2 and hated book 3. But I'm willing to give her a second chance and start with the Ship of Magic, that piratey fantasy trilogy. So that is, unfortunately, this update, not what I wanted out of my Valdemar experience, but I still really like Arrows of the Queen. The continuation into the Valdemar world has been very hit or miss for me. Then we have a banger. We have a winner. I read Iris Kelly Doesn't Date by Ashley Herring Lake. This is the 3rd book in the Bright Fall series, the first being Delilah Green Doesn't Care, and I loved Delilah Green Doesn't Care. Gave that one 5 stars. I read Astrid Parker Doesn't Fail. Didn't love it as much. Wasn't obsessed with the couple. 3.5 stars. This is a contemporary romance that I also gave 5 stars. This was great. This was emotional. This was impactful. I loved the characters and the side characters. I loved the plot. This had that special something that elevates romance in my eyes, and it's something I can't really articulate. I call it the sauce. It's got the secret sauce, and I don't exactly know what it is about this, but some combination of things just really worked for me, and I sobbed my eyes out reading this one multiple times. This is about Iris, who has been struggling with romantic relationships recently and ends up in a fake dating scheme with a woman named Stevie, who is an anxious actor, and they end up putting on a play together as leads in Much Ado About Nothing, Iris playing Beatrice and Stevie playing Benedict. Much Ado About Nothing is my favorite Shakespeare play, by the way, and I loved this book. I can't gush enough about it, and I want to reread it immediately. I think I'm gonna start reading it again, like tomorrow or tonight even. I also read a short story called The Yellow Wallpaper by Charlotte Perkins Gilman. This is a classic gothic horror it's a very short story, so I don't want to give, I guess, too much away, but this is about a woman who is struggling, and so trigger warning for postpartum depression. And this is a reread for me. I think this is an excellent short story, and I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars, and really enjoyed it. But what a thing to read when I was suffering very heavily with depression. Like, this was not, I shouldn't have read this at the time that I did, but I still enjoyed it. Then I read The Witch Boy and The Hidden Witch by Molly Ostertag. And this is a middle grade fantasy graphic novel series. And this was cute. This is about a boy who grows up in a witch family, and boys are turn into shapeshifters, and girls become witches and can cast spells, and our main character Aster wants to be a witch and not a shapeshifter. So this is about, you know, gender roles and not feeling secure in your identity and your role in a family, and what your gender means in terms of what you do in society. And this is really cute. I guess it's like a 3.5 star series. It was fun to read in the bathtub, which is what I did. I'm not going to over explain myself and feel shame about what I read, so I'm just gonna say I read Mafia Mistress by Mila Finelli, and I, on one hand, ate this up and read it in less than like 12 hours, like a 12-hour time period, so like essentially less than a day. But I also hated it and like hated the characters and hated the plot and really hated the queer plot line in here. Really hated it, which is why I'm giving this 1 star. But I also couldn't put it down. So like, I hated it, but also take it with a grain of salt. If you're into dark romance, maybe this could be for you, but I cannot actively recommend it because of the queer plot line was atrocious, and I'm not continuing the series. Why would I? So we're moving on. The last book I have to tell you about is One for My Enemy by Olive E. Blake. This is a Romeo and Juliet retelling with rival witch covens in modern day New York. So like an urban fantasy Romeo and Juliet type thing with magic drugs, and they're like crime families essentially. And this was pretty good. I'm giving it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I think this is the best Olive E. Blake in terms of her purple prose. It's a really turned down, actually. It's a lot more digestible in this one. There is some flowery language still in this, but I think it's less so than her other work. However, I will say I put this book down and started reading something else, and I read something else, and I read something else, and I didn't think about this book. I didn't feel compelled to pick it back up. So that says something, I think. I think this was just okay for me. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Those were the books that I read in October that I hadn't talked about in a reading vlog. I'm also in the middle of Valor by John Gwynne, which is the second book in the Faithful and the Fallen series. I read Malice in one of my reading vlogs, and this is the sequel. I'm about 60% of the way done with it, and this is also giving 5-star vibes. So this is going to be my first read of November, and I am really loving it. I think this is going to be another 5-star. So John Gwynne, a new favorite author for sure. I've read 3.5 books of his, all of which were either 4.5 or 5 stars. So at least I found a new favorite author this month, despite all of my struggles. Thank you so much for watching. What did you read in October? What were your favorites? I would love to know in the comments down below, and I will see you in another video of mine very soon. Bye!